So, Spiky, tell us, where did you first hear this? When did CAF use it? Then it became the subject of the dispute.
So in 2018, I think it was in 2017 going into 2018 when they were advertising the CAF Awards. I was home one weekend when a friend of mine, a colleague of mine, called me and said he'd heard a soundtrack that he usually listens to them in his car because he enjoys them. He said he'd heard it being used to advertise the CAF Awards, and so I should go check it out. So I went to Twitter, searched for the CAF Twitter page, and there it was. Male Footballer of the Year, Male African Footballer of the Year.
That category,
and Female African Footballer of the Year category. So when they were advertising these players, they had the music playing in the background, and it was the exact same thing you just heard.
That's one keke.
The same thing. So when it happened, I just reached out to them and said, hey, that's my music. Nobody asked me permission, so what's going on? And tried to reach out to them, tried to reach them for a couple of times, nothing. Then I went to their websites and tried to send them an email. And right then, later on, someone reached out to me from there, asked for my number. We had a conversation. They asked me what the way forward was. And I said, well, compensate me.
I see.
And
straight away.
Yeah.
But you didn't do it alone. You do it with your lawyer.
So in the beginning, I did it alone because I was hoping we could settle this, hey, use my music.
Yeah.
And they asked me how much, and I told them and they pay. But then when I told them, I didn't hear from them, so then I had to reach out
to a lawyer.
A lawyer, yes.
Okay. So where was this event held? Nigeria?
I don't recall.
Okay, you don't recall. So, lawyer Anku, Sarah Anku, at what point in time did you, after assessing his complaints or his case in terms of the fact that you decided to formally file, and because of what exactly?
So let me step back briefly. I met Kobe at Joy FM. No, Joy FM, yes. He hosted me on an IP program. I had launched a book on IP. And in the conversation, he mentioned that he believes his rights had been infringed. And he was at that time a bit frustrated because he didn't know the way out. So I listened to him, and right then, from the facts that he gave me, I suspected that he put action against the CAF. So I decided to look into the matter. I did, and I was convinced that he did indeed have a cause of action against CAF, because from what he said, CAF used the work without his permission. He had posted the work on his own media, and they just picked the work, a parrot copy of it, without any adaptation whatsoever. Well, adaptation in terms of the video, but the sound recording was one and same. So again, he also gave me a copy of a letter that was written to him apologizing for the use of the work. So at that moment, I was wondering why CAF failed to actually settle the matter with him at that point. And subsequently, I realized that the treatment was a bit out of disrespect, in my view. That's just my opinion. So I took it on because I knew he needed help. He needed help to actually vindicate himself and get what was due him. So that was when it was then that I decided to take up the case and to help him out.
Okay, we'll come back to the issue of the remedies, etc. But in this instance, that's pure copyright breach, right?
Yes.
Within our laws, and then it's syncing with what the general intellectual property copyright infringement rules or laws are. What are they?
Yes, actually, we have copyright and related rights. So this particular case, we'll be looking at the related rights. And the related rights refers to the performance and their performance, the performers and their performance, and broadcasters, and also look at the producers. Those people, the law has conferred bundle of rights onto them, that it is these people who can authorize or prohibit anybody from either reproducing the work or translating or adoption or communicating to public. If you do any of this without permission, it's considered as infringement. And according to Section 43 of the Copyright Act, you may be charged for infringement if you copy somebody's work without permission. And that, if you copy it that way, if you are convicted in the Ghana law, you will be charged not less, you will find not more than 1,000 penalty units and not less than 500 penalty units.
Okay.
Or you will be convicted to 3 years imprisonment or both. But if you continue to commit that act, you will be charged again not less than 100 penalty units and no more than 25 penalty units, so long as you keep on committing that act. So it's a serious business. I always encourage people to either take permission from the owner before you can use the work.
All right. Loyanko, at the end of the day, it means that you brought some remedies. What remedies were you seeking before the court, and which court did you file your complaint to?
We filed at the commercial court because that is the law provides that if you have an intellectual property case, you have to file at the commercial court, at the High Court and the commercial division in particular. So that is what we did, and we sought an injunction against the use of his work, and also we sought damages, and we actually asked for account for profit. I don't know exactly how the judge came by the figures because I haven't seen the detailed, the reasoned judgment of the judge. We are yet to receive a copy of that, and when we do, we'll read it carefully and then we can speak to that. But what I know is that he granted us the injunction and then ordered that CAF ensures that all the infringing materials are removed from all media, and then also awarded some cost as well, the damages and cost. So I think 4 reliefs in all.
Okay.
And yes, so that is what we have for now.
All right. Mr. Asa, at the end of the day, are there jurisdictional issues? Let's say if the breach did not occur here and it occurred in another country.
Yeah, copyright, even though intellectual property generally is territorial, but copyright is a little bit different because of the Berne Convention. Because in the Berne Convention, it is said that countries should protect their nationals and do same to other nationals. If, for instance, Ghana is supposed to protect all its nationals, but when Nigerians' copyright works are found here, we have obligation to also protect it. So unless the country that act they committed the act, if it is not a member of the Berne Convention, and you know the Berne Convention was passed in 1886 or something like that. So members have obligation to protect their nationals and do same to other nationals. So looking at that one, it means that if your work is infringed in member states, you can actually take action.
Fantastic. Yeah. And you have been playing the space, Spiky. Is that what motivated you to think you can get something out of it? Your remedies due you, etc., and so some rewards or damages, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of news stories about other creatives being rewarded after their rights were infringed. And One such example was an American artist, young artist called Juice WRLD, using Sting's, interpolating Sting's song and using it for his song. And Sting then now owns 85% of royalties from his song. And so it just made me want to learn more about copyright and figure out what I'm permitted to do and not permitted to do, because I could be on this side as well. I could use somebody's sample in my beat and then get into trouble. And so it's one thing that's made me very wary when I'm producing. I don't take something that belongs to someone unless I know that I'm not going to do anything commercial with it, or it's maybe just a proof of concept. But if I'm creating something original that I want to sell, I try as much as possible not to use anyone's sample based on all these stories that I'd heard.
All right. Lawyer Sarah Anku, at the end of the day, did it take long? How long did the case travel? Because people think that you just filed last month. No, then the thing happened.
No, it doesn't work like that. We started this, I believe, in 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, in 2022. So just under 3 years.
All right. And so did you subpoena, or did the court subpoena the CAF representatives, etc.? And how did they get here? Do they have their reps here, or what happened? What exactly happened? Take us through.
So this writ was served out of the jurisdiction. There's a procedure in court in the rules that allows us to serve such notice of rates out of the jurisdiction.
Okay.
So we serve them, and more, we actually invoke the jurisdiction of the court, and we serve them out of the jurisdiction.
Okay.
And they were represented. They also got their lawyers here to represent them. So that's how it basically started. So we have been dealing with their lawyers, and they actually filed their defense. One person from CAF signed their witness statement, but as their own strategy in handling the case, they decided not to bring in that person to testify at the end of
All
the
right.
case.
So
I don't know how the judge has handled it, that particular situation in the judgment as well.
Okay. So how much were you asking for in terms of the damages in fees?
We did not put specific figures there.
Okay.
And it was one of the reasons why we asked for account for profit, because we didn't know how much money CAF made as a result of using our work. So we needed them to disclose so that the calculations could be made from there.
Okay.
Again, I don't know how the judge handled it, but he came up with that particular figure.
All right. What would be your best advisory to creative arts people who have works out there, and what should they do to be on the lookout just in case?
I would say that their works are their property, just as they have their own tangible property, and their works have economic rights as well as moral rights. So what it means is that nobody should pick their work and use without their consent or without even acknowledging them. So when that happens, the laws of Ghana protects them. They have all these rights under the laws. They can get some form of relief from the courts if need be. So they should not just take it for granted and throw their arms in despair when such things happen. They should take steps to vindicate their rights.
Fantastic, lawyer. Thank you very much, legal practitioner Sarah Noko Anku. I'm right?
Yes, you're right.
Of Anku at law.
Yes, please.
Okay, they are based in Tesano. I know the place very, very well. All right, thank you very much for joining us. So we'll leave you to go and do your work. But what will be your best advice to those in the industry, especially for them to collaborate with the office, because it's very important?
Our advice to all the stakeholders is that intellectual property is creation of human mind, so it belongs to them. They should look at that property like land. Nobody will buy land if they don't give him documents. So if you are going to, if especially music, if you are coming out of music, a lot of people comes together to create the music. So there should be agreement between you, among you people, how royalties should be shared and other these things. And you also have to police your own work so that when there's infringement somewhere, you can take action. And we always say that not necessarily going to court. At the initial stage, you can use the mediation or arbitration. If it fails, then you...
As in, you use ADR?
Yeah, mediation, like mediation. After mediation, the law recognizes it. In our office, you can petition the copyright administrator, then we'll mediate between the parties. But for, if maybe you are dealing with foreign, maybe foreign partners, try to use the arbitration, where when you use the arbitration, when there's award, you can use the international arbitral law to get whatever you want.
All right.
So we always have to make sure that, and when you are also creating as an artist, don't copy from pre-existing works. Try to create something, either from the public domain works or those works which protection has expired. These are the things that you have to take the precaution. If not that, you may infringe on somebody's intellectual property knowingly or unknowingly, and the person may take you on. Yeah.
Taliba, Spiky, when I was hearing your work, I was hearing some nafty, listen, yo, ding, 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 play that thing again, let me see. But have you received the money?
No, not yet.
Because social media, they say you are rich, this thing.
That's what they think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how has this made you aware as an artist to be more proactive in looking out for some of these and perhaps even creating the advocacy for that? Because there are people who may not notice or will notice but will not know the steps to take, because it's very important.
It is indeed. And as you rightly said when you were introducing me, I do work in tech. And I've seen this play out on digital media in various ways. So on YouTube, on social media like Facebook and the rest, you have these things actually happening there. And sometimes it actually impacts the creator's works. So if you upload your stuff and it's infringing on someone's copyright, Facebook, YouTube, or TikTok, most of these platforms reserve the right to take it down to avoid copyright issues against them. Because most of the time, the one whose rights are being infringed would not come sue you because you're a small fish. They would probably go sue the platform on which it's being hosted. And so that's why normally they take it down. So I have been very, very active in advocating for creators to know a lot about copyright and intellectual property. Done stuff with Musica and the creative agency in Ghana. So I look forward to doing more of that to educate our
Fantastic.
creators.
Madam, you are still there?
Yes, I'm around, yes.
How much of the 250 is going to come to Ghana? I want to... Because, of course, they'll pay lawyer fees and all that. You people, legal fees, so those things. How much, is going to come? Because it will be to travel, right, before it comes. So just tell me. So I'll be praying hard for it.
We pray for the money to come quickly. We are going to work on that to get it. There's a procedure for obtaining the money in the first place. So that's why Spiky just told you that he doesn't have the money.
Yeah,
so we have to take steps to even get the money in the first place. Then we can talk about all that.
Well, certainly. Don't worry. For those of us in the media, we want everything quick. Thank you very much, all three of you. Great conversation. And copy Spiky, certainly. The man who loves tech and then BMW. I'm telling you, just go onto his social, BMW. They even have some great rights, BMW. I don't know how they do it. But we have to take you live with Nashako, who is at the center of our community manifested today, Krowo constituency, and we'll be there as we do the birthdays and go there. So quickly, let us make sure that we acknowledge some great people who tend to watch us all the time. Justice Awute, University of Ghana, tomorrow is your birthday. I'm wishing you way ahead of the time. And Zunzum Nelson, that we're talking about, the legendary Azuma Nelson. And he is celebrating 66 years today.